Welcome to Beyond the Megawatt. I'm Valerie Crafton, Risk and Site Strategist. I'm joined by my co-host Mara Irvin, reuse expert and real estate visionary. Together, we are the Data Center Darlings. We're spotlighting the voices and ideas powering digital infrastructure's future. Let's dive in and go beyond the megawatt. Welcome to Beyond the Megawatt. I'm here with Jackie and Lillian, who's going to give me a little bit of a postpartum review of how they're feeling after the big 7x24 WiMCO Summit. And I'm excited. I was able to be a part of it and be there live. And I know Mara was there in spirit. She's been at the events on all 3 years before that. So I was excited to actually represent us this year. So thank you so much for taking the time to come out and tell us a little bit about the event and how you're feeling afterward. But first, before we get to that, I understand it's a little emotional. Before we get to that, I want to start off from where this started. Like, tell us the story that really created this event and how it launched. And give the listeners who don't know the backstory some insight. And then let's talk about this event that was sold out this year. Oh my gosh.
Definitely. 4 years ago, I was at an event and I'd just gone to a WiMCO happy hour. And then I overheard these ladies after the WiMCO happy hour talking about their lack of support, their lack of mentorship, that they were assigned a mentor, but then were always too afraid to reach out to him because their calendar was so full. And it was a very real, raw conversation that I overheard. And it was someone getting extremely upset about the bottlenecks that they kept encountering.
Was this mentorship inside WiMCO, or was this mentorship inside their own personal business that they worked in?
Their organization that they worked for. And overhearing that in just someone being very raw and real about it, and just coming from a WiMCO happy hour and hearing, how we need to really create a safe space for women in the industry. And then I am hearing this after the fact, immediately after, and someone just pouring their heart out. And it dawned on me, I was like, okay, so other than, which happy hours are important to create a sense of community, but that only is a happy hour where you have surface level conversations. So I started thinking about what are we doing as an industry? If we're truly going to move the needle and we're going to change things for women, we need to do something different. And so I reached out to Carrie Getz, and she's been my mentor, favorite, my mom, she's everything.
She's all of our moms.
Right. And she's incredible. And I reached out to Carrie and I said, I have this idea. And it was she's like, I said, what do you think about it? And am I crazy? And she's like, no, I think it's great. And then I reached out to Nancy Novak and I said, what do you think about this? And she said, I think it's great. And she's like, I think you should do it. And then she had her own ideas. And so it started becoming this thing that I was talking to people about, that they were like, I like it. How do we do this? And so at the time, I served on a board, 7x24, the Texas South chapter board. I presented it to our board. And because of the risk involved, I was told no. And I was like, oh. And at that point, I got involved with Julia Rulli. And Julia Rulli said, you got to talk to Lillian. And that woman, I owe her like so much for introducing me to Lillian, because holy cow, I don't know what my life would be like without Lillian. And so I was like, okay, so I looped Lillian in and we were told no again. And then I was like, okay, well, what if we split the liability with another chapter? Maybe then. And then I was told no again. And so we were told no multiple times. And finally we were like, okay, well, Julia Rulli and Michael Siteman joined a meeting and I had a presentation making a case for it. This is what it's going to cost. This is how we're going to do this. This is how we're going to scale. This is my plan and my team's plan. And finally, if it weren't for Michael Siteman and Julia Rulli moving it across the finish line to a yes, it never would have happened because of the risk factor there. And then
I know the listeners are asking, what is the risk? Is it the risk that it wouldn't be successful and no one would want to attend? Was that the risk we're talking about?
Well, when you reserve a venue like this, there's a minimum amount that you have to pay for food and beverage. There's guarantees on the rooms, and you have to account for attrition. That's why when you go to an event says book through the block rate, because if not, guess what? Those people have to pay for the rooms if they don't meet their attrition rate. And it's a big liability. And we're not just talking thousands of dollars. We're talking, I mean, for some events, it's way more than ours, but tens of thousands of dollars. And it can add up very quickly. And so there's big liability there on the financial side of things. And I think that's where the hesitation really was. And, you know, even then I was asked questions like, I don't really understand why women need this. And why do we need to do this? And I was like, because women are very different than men in the way. Last night I was talking to my husband about when I was a kid and I grew up playing with Barbies and he grew up playing with G.I. Joes, right? And how funny that is. But men are more risk or adventurous, like they're more likely to take risks. Women, even in female dominated industries, are not as likely to take risk or step out in the spotlight because they're afraid they're going to say something, do something, or ask the wrong question. And the professional backlash that would come back at them, they would rather just stay quiet.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
Staying quiet isn't what helps you excel. Staying quiet isn't what helps you grow as an individual, both personally and professionally. And so that's kind of how the event came to be. Now I've been talking all this time. Lillian, did I forget anything?
No, you hit the nail on the head. I think that's exactly what, that was the story. And then the financial risk was the big thing because these chapters are all nonprofit. So every single person that's on the board, just know that no one is getting paid. We are all doing this because we are passionate about it. So taking that financial risk as a board is also jeopardizing the chapter. Whatever chapter it was at the time, the Texas South was taking the risk, and I think Central Texas joined them as well.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit, just to pull Lillian into this. Jackie reaches out to you and loops you in. Your first thought and how'd you feel?
Oh my gosh, I was like, yes. I was like, let's do this. So I've been involved with the 7x24 International 7x24 DC chapter for the last 16 years. And when we started WiMCO, which was started in the Carolinas, I was all for it. I was like, finally, here we are. We have, this male-dominated industry, and here we are with this group of women that now are going to create a community. And it's been amazing. So when Jackie came to me and said, can we have an event like around WiMCO? I was like, hell yeah.
Yes. And I just want to touch on a little bit of what both of you have said. Why? I mean, I think the question comes up a lot, and I've been hearing it a lot since I took over the I Am Women Phoenix chapter lead, and I started hearing that same kind of chirp. Why do women need their own event? Isn't that exclusive? And it's not so much trying to, because your event was not exclusive. It wasn't women only. It was women focused, but allies were there. Allies were invited. Allies were welcome. And it was a really great way to see the other side of our industry, that feminine space that frankly we're all trying to recruit and bring into the industry. We need more women into this industry, 100%. But we have to change a little bit of the culture for which they're walking into. It's got to be more than a love bombing situation where we get all excited about having you come in, and then they get into the environment and they're like, I don't feel like I belong. The culture, the environment, the benefits, all of the things I'm walking into do not or were not adjusted to include me. And so we have to think as a corporation, when folks are thinking about recruiting women, or why do women need this? And even these internal mentorship programs, which are they buddy programs? I've heard them a couple of different ways. They're a check the box. You get assigned to a person, and this is why I tell a lot of when I'm mentoring younger folks coming in industry, you've got to find those mentors not just internally, and they're not always women either, but you've got to find those mentorships externally. And I know that when I was in corporate and I'd asked to go to these events, I would get declined. They wouldn't pay for them. I'd have to take time off if I wanted to go. I had to pay for the tickets out of my pocket. And if I were asked to speak, I had to ask permission, and it was always also declined. So here I am, a female in this industry for the last 21 years building data centers. And people are I'm just now meeting Lillian and Jackie and all these folks because I'm on the West Coast that's part of my problem. And the other part is I've had my head down actually out there working in the field. And, if we want our people to actually come together, we want the women to stay in the industry, we've got to think differently. And I think what you put together is a way to do that, right? It was affordable. If you weren't going to get someone to or a company to pay for it, you could easily afford it out of your own pocket. Like it was no brainer as soon as
that was intentional, by the way.
Yes. So I just want to highlight, it was affordable so that young folks can go. You included students. There were students at this event. I just thought it was such a well done. This was my first year to attend. I was just blown away. So with all that said, let's jump into it. Let's jump into fast forward to today. How has it evolved? And how do you feel about it now that it's a third year, right? Third year? Third year has completed. Where's your mind? Are we going bigger next year? I asked way too many questions just there. Let's start off with
I think it's definitely evolved, and you've kind of hit on several different things, and then I'll jump to how it's evolved. But Lillian and the team and I, we've always been intentional in the sense that most events that you go to, it's all BD and salespeople, right? But that's not the backbone of the industry. There are so many other people out there. There's project managers, there's procurement teams, there's finance teams, there's marketing, and all of that is truly what makes up our industry. Yeah. And while BD and sales is a big driving factor, right? Driving a lot of this growth, they're not the end all be all. And we want to include some of those other people. And so the first year we found that by keeping the cost low for the attendee pass, and in previous years, it's typically below our cost per person. And that's actually been all 3 years. And it's really important for us to make sure that people can go and that companies understand that this event is different in the sense that this is investing in your people. And we've seen companies show up and really show up year after year after year and send more people where it's okay, they see the value in it. And it's definitely, we went from 200 to almost 300 to now we had almost 350 this year. And
let's give some shout outs to those sponsors who have really backed you these last few years. I want to give them shout outs right now. Who are they?
Yeah, I would say we've got T5 Data Centers, 1547 Realty, yes, Page, Element Critical, ABM, Engineering Excellence, Tate. Yep, Tate was in there. Vertiv, Foster Fuels, Barge Design, Duffy Construction, CSB Energy, Linesight, Evans GC, Evans General Contractors, Sunbelt came in, Orion, Ameristar. I mean, huge shout out to those who have really made sure that year after year, they're showing up, because without them, let me tell you, we cannot do any of this. And every single dollar counts. And what I will say, even in a year where there's a lot of talk about scaling back on travel, because, there's been so much going on where people are I don't know where the economy is going to be. We got a little scared earlier this year that we weren't going to be able to afford this event. And
also the scale back on DEI.
Yes. And the scale back on DEI. And that's one thing that kind of scared me. And I actually called Lillian and said, do you think we should cancel this year? And her words were, absolutely not.
Hell no. Hell no. Say it like it is, right. Lillian. Hell no.
And this ended up being the first year we sell out. So kudos to you, Lillian, for being absolutely not, Jackie. Don't ever say that again. But I think that speaks to a lot of it was, and some people I think sign up for, and they don't realize what they're getting themselves into. I kind of joked about that whenever we opened up, sorry for those who don't realize what you got yourselves into. It's a different event than the average that you see out there. And we tried to be extremely intentional in every aspect and detail to make sure people realize it's different. We want people to build long-lasting relationships and connections where they can grow and have that support system to back themselves up. And you mentioned the guys in the room. Like some of those men, the first people to sign up for the event this year were male and
That's
had
amazing.
been here previously in previous years, and they're huge advocates for this event. They even donned tutus our first year because we did a tournament in tutus to get women to like let go of their anxiety, get out there on the course and have fun. If I don't know how many golf tournaments we have in this industry, but it's quite a few. And I think that I tell guys all the time, I thought golf was for lazy people who just like to drink until I started playing it. And then I loved it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I went out and bought my first set of clubs like immediately afterwards. And it wasn't that I did great out on the course. I did horrible except for one hole where I hit into a bunker and then I chipped out of the bunker and my ball hit the pin and I played like crap the rest of the time. But that one hole is what hooked me. And I didn't even see it because I'm so damn short that I was in the bunker. And everyone starts screaming on the green. And I'm like, what? They're like, your ball hit the pin. And I was like, did someone take a video? And they're like, no. But it's stuff like that. But I think a lot of women like that didn't even understand how a scramble works. They don't understand it. And so our driver has been like, let's push people outside of their comfort zone and get them to do things they normally wouldn't do. So they can broaden their horizons and expand their knowledge and experience and really step out more because that's where they'll shine.
And we also had some poker lessons this year as well. Was that something you traditionally do? That was a
It's
lot of
another
fun.
one of those outside your comfort zones. A lot of guys go play poker. So we were like, you know what? Let's try it.
Yeah.
So
I know.
And the winner had never played poker before.
Yeah,
Well, the
she got
second
second place. Yeah.
second place. Mhm.
That was amazing.
That was.
amazing. I had a blast playing poker as well.
That was so much
I
fun.
loved the little cheap cards. There was a little bit of like pushback competition going on, even though we were using fake money. It was a lot of fun. A lot of energy in the room too.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Lots of energy in the room for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, like Lillian said, I mean, it's that especially because whenever you take something that women normally wouldn't join, or even men, even some men were like, I'm not a poker player, but I'm going to try. I think men have the same types of emotions that we do. They're just a lot more likely to take risk, or they just handle it a different way, right? And so even some of the guys have said how instrumental this event has been for them because they deal with the same things. They just don't really talk about it, right? Where we're like, all right, let's peel back those layers to that onion and let's jump all in. It's been, for me, and I think for our entire team, some of that feedback year after year has been incredible because we thought, okay, we're just going to try to make an impact, and whatever impact that is, as long as it's whatever size, but to be able to make an impact on men and their career path as well was a total shock to us. And it's an honor to be able to do this and be able to put this on for the industry because now for the first year ever selling out, feel like we've made a case for it.
This episode is brought to you by BCS Switchgear, where power meets precision. From obsolete breakers to the new 15 to 34.5 kV switchgear and low break switches, BCS delivers fast answers and custom engineered solutions that keep mission critical systems online.
This was my first year. And one of my favorite things that stood out to me was it wasn't all technical. There was a balance between technical and the human piece of it. And there was, for me, it's one of the favorite, hence why Mara and I have a podcast, because we love raising the voices of the hidden gems in the industry. And so being able to go out there and capture a lot of those within just a few minutes, some human stories of all the guests who were there. But just watching an event that really, I considered upskilled the conversation. We were talking about technical stuff, but we were also talking about the human element as well. And I think we sometimes forget about the human element, that should be a part of absolutely everything. So when we think about trying to solve a problem, for example, and it's a technical problem. We assume that it's going to take a technical solution, but that's why women are such a great perspective into any conversation, because we always remember a human first and foremost, because whenever you're trying to solve something, there's some human in operations or in maintenance or something downstream that you're impacting with that technical solution. And we sometimes have to make those dot connections, and women are really great at making dot connections when it comes to ensuring we're thinking about the people who are incorporated and how that impacts them and so forth. So when you walk into the 7x24 WiMCO Summit, you get a balance of human and technical presentations and insights and perspectives. And it was my favorite thing.
Yeah, that too was intentional.
So intentional. I believe it.
Back to that, but yeah, professional development is definitely something that we really focus on with this conference. This year we added a little more technical because we did get some feedback that some people wanted a little more technical. So we added the breakout sessions, we added the SMR session. But for the most part, this conference, a lot of it has to do with the professional development and the human element and, how to tackle a situation as a person, not like you said, as a technical, not everything has to be technical, right? Yeah. We also have to learn how to have emotional intelligence and, as a lot of panelists spoke about. But yeah, that was definitely something that we really based this conference around, was the professional development side.
It kicked off with a high note from the beginning with our keynote.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
She was such a powerhouse.
Amazing.
Amazing. I mean, it's something that I watch on the East Coast, and I saw this beautiful tribe that you all have out there. And I said, we don't have that here in Phoenix. I'm going to build that. And it's that thing about being, I call it women lifting other women, right? We're not queen bees. We're not cliques. We're a tribe. And we're stronger when we're linked together. And when I sat there and I listened to it, and I'm like, yes, that's it. That's what I'm talking about. It's about being a hype girl, not a mean girl.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
and that the sisterhood goes way beyond. Back to like, why do we need this? Because I'm in a male-dominated industry, and if I need to talk to someone who's doing what I do, I need to be able to go into the meetings that are women focused, into these conferences that are women focused, and find other women who are doing what I do, because frankly, there's not enough of us to find them internally. And sometimes it's not comfortable to talk to people internally, right? You need to find those people that you can surround yourself with. That know what I look like when I cry ugly, is what she said. And I mean, she was like hitting all the things on the nails, and you just, someone you can just be honest with, and they say, I got you. And has your backs when you're going through really hard things like cancer or anything for that, maybe a loss of a loved one or what have you. So I think that's something I know I've missed in my going through my career, was just not having enough women surrounding me. That if I think back, I probably would have found my tribe and my groups of women events a lot sooner. But I don't think we've always had such a strong presence as we do today to provide that. So all the folks who are new coming in are getting to be like, wow, I get to have this big tribe. I was like, man, I wish I had that along the way. But if I can help contribute and build it, then I want to be a part of it.
Tell me who you are.
I'm Tiffany Pawlowski.
And is this your first WiMCO event?
It is.
And what do you think so far?
It's amazing. This is the first women's conference that I've ever been to. I love the fact that I'm sitting at a table with a majority of the people being women.
Hi everyone, I'm Lauren Hilton from Volta Insight out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And this is my first WiMCO Tech Summit this year.
That is amazing. So what made you want to come this year?
I have wanted to come many years, but this year it luckily worked out. Both from a professional and a personal standpoint is why I wanted to be here.
Why do you think this event is maybe a little bit more special than other events you've gone to?
I really was drawn to the leadership growth that is a focus here, along with just getting to know the other women in this industry that go through and experience all the same things that we do, but we don't necessarily get to see each other all the time.
That's right.
So it's a captive audience to be able to share knowledge and network.
I love that.
I am Sarah Rothwine. I'm with Evans General Contractors. WiMCO is really important to me. 7x24 has been so supportive of women in the industry, and I think it's so empowering to be around this many women and men that support us.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite events.
My name is Carl Quinn, and I'm with a company called Moy. And Moy we're involved in the construction of data centers and building envelopes specifically.
So we're here at the WiMCO Summit. Now, what do you think of this event so far?
Well, it's my first WiMCO. I have a lot of friends that have been involved actually in the organizing group of this event. It's been incredible. I think the speakers, I think just uniquely beautiful feeling about this event. It's got such a nice energy.
Yes, hi, I'm Dr. Sharon Jones. My background is in education and computer science in particular. I've been teaching computer science for a little over 25 years now.
Is this your first event at 7x24 WiMCO?
No, this is not my first event. I had the wonderful opportunity of coming last year to the same conference to moderate an AI panel, and I fell in love. Just amazing women, men. The event had such good juju. I was like, I learned something, I networked. I've grown as a professional. It's almost like a safe blanket where you can talk about yourself, and everyone's like, yes.
Well, you put on a fantastic panel, which was the highlight of today as far as I'm concerned. It really, really set us off. Tell us a little bit about what we learned today.
So what we did today was talking about AI prompting in the workforce. So the data center world is all about hosting. That's right, all of the AI pieces, right? And being able to create data centers that are efficient, that can manage the high demand that we're doing when we're doing things with ChatGPT and even the AI tools within your software pieces of Excel and whatnot. Today I wanted as a professional to sit down and think about how do we use AI as a tool in our everyday professional life. And we talked a little bit about the power of the blend, of using multiple places and then pulling out what you really want. Yes. Because you can't just put it in and then take that out and be like, oh, this is it.
It's a great way to do a double back check from AI to AI.
Yes.
I'm here with, tell me who you are and who you're with.
Zandronica Cloud, Lone Star College. I'm a student.
You're a student, and what were you doing before you decided to transition to cybersecurity?
I am a 30-year hairstylist, and I'm a veteran.
And a veteran.
Yes.
What service did you serve in?
The Air Force.
And the Air Force.
Yes.
Magnificent. Wow. And we were just talking about how this was her first event
Yes.
with the 7x24 Women's Summit, but also her first conference ever.
Yes.
So tell me what made you want to come out to this event?
Well, the field is so broad in cybersecurity. That's what I'm getting my bachelor's in. So I just wanted to see what's out there and talk to everyone and see what my options were for going into the workforce.
I am Stacey Huckle with Engineering Excellence.
Excellent. And tell me, how long have you been in the industry?
I've been in the industry for about 11 years. So I've been part of the planning committee this year.
Oh, exciting.
The very first year, 3 years ago, I was on the planning committee and was doing the speaker. We had all women panel. It was something that they said we couldn't do, so we did it. And I think that's a little bit of our theme. And now the WiMCO is really starting to take off, and it's so exciting to be part of it.
So what makes this one special compared to others?
So this WiMCO event is regional, and it's the largest one that we have. It's something that was a brainchild of a group of women who had met at 7x24 conferences over and over and over, and just didn't know that we had our own presence. And Jackie P is the most amazing, Lillian. They just had this idea that we needed to make ourselves bigger.
I'm here with Jace. Jace, tell me, what brought you out to this event?
You know, there's a lot of amazing people that are here. WiMCO has made their name in the data center industry as one of the top conferences and what the organization does across the board and across the country. So I really came because WiMCO has such an amazing reputation and the people that are going to be here. You guys do an amazing event. I mean, last night's event was incredible. The poker night.
Oh my goodness.
We had,
so fun.
it was an absolute blast. Met a lot of great people, and I mean, everybody knows how wonderful WiMCO is.
I'm here with Tracy. Tracy's going to tell us this is her first event.
Yes, this is my first WiMCO in Texas, and I am so excited. I missed it last year. I was very sad.
Tell us a little bit about why this event you think it might be special compared to other events.
I can tell you that this event has so much buzz around it because it's majority women. I mean, there's men here that are here to support the women, but it's the majority of everyone here is from the mission critical data center space is women. And I just feel like there's a cohesiveness and a helpfulness. Everybody wants to network, get to know each other, introduce everybody around, and it's just very focused.
I'm here with Sarah. Sarah, tell us how long you've been in the industry.
So I've been in the industry for 3 years now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think so far? I mean, it's been 3 years. You
Yeah.
must love it.
I do. I really love this industry, and
They must love you because they've kept you around.
they've kept me around for 3 years now. Thank you, Zaptec. I love this industry. I love the people. Like, I love people like Val, like, because they inspire you, you know? Like, you started a podcast, and I'm like, that's amazing. Like, I could only think, like, I just love the people. You're so motivated. We're doing hard things, and we're just wanting to help people and build these relationships. So it's great.
So is this your first 7x24 WiMCO event?
No, this is my third, actually.
So you've been to all of them?
All of them, yeah.
That's amazing. So how have you watched them progress, and what do you love about it?
I love just seeing how many more women are coming each time and how much it's growing. Like, I love this as much as seeing we have that women WhatsApp group.
Yes.
I love watching that grow too. Like, I remember it was like 50 people, now 100 people, now it's 500.
Thank you, Carrie.
Are you kidding me? Thank you, Carrie. That's amazing. But same with these conferences, and the conversations are just different. The conversations are different here than at any other conference. Like, they're talking about mental health. They're talking about the real struggles that people in this industry face, and especially women in this industry face.
I think it's interesting that you brought it up because so many have brought it up so far is we're learning some technical things here, but it's very balanced out with the human piece of all of it. Because I think that has been the core theme is at the core of everything we do is the human.
Yes.
I am here. Introduce yourself. Share with us who you are. And is this your first time to the 7x24 WiMCO Summit?
Valerie, thank you so much. I'm Catherine Donnelly. I'm an independent consultant. I founded a company called Delicate Balance Consulting about 18 months ago, focused on sustainability in mission critical infrastructure. This is my first time at WiMCO Tech Summit.
What do you think so far?
It is exceeding my expectations.
Wow.
I have to admit, I was a little skeptical about a very feminine-centric conference.
Right.
It's hitting so many sweet spots.
Oh, I'm so glad. I am so glad. What has been your favorite thing so far?
I've had every day, every moment, I seem to have a new first or favorite, but I have to say Missy Young this morning with an opening keynote for the event for all the participants, male and female alike. We got a coaching on what it means to be part of the Sisterhood and how to support each other and uplift each other, and what a mean girl is and what a hype girl is. And I mean, so it was just 101.
Yes.
And I think we all needed it.
100%.
You know, and it was, where have you ever gone to a conference where you got that kind of information in a keynote?
Yes.
Fantastic.
We're going to be hype girls. That's right. 100%. Now, you've focused on sustainability, and there's a lot of folks who are very passionate about it.
Yeah.
And it's something we've talking a lot about in the industry. And everyone is really quick to say, I'm not an expert. Are you an expert?
I will distinguish myself as an expert just because I want to get the questions, right?
Yeah.
But we are on a journey of first with sustainability. There is no place where we have sustainably built the built environment. And so we are all learning together. And so, yes, somebody has to raise their hand just so that they're willing to get the questions from everybody, but we don't have any true experts.
I might have just dropped an audacious question here, but this is going to be a future guest on our podcast, talking a little bit more about sustainability.
I love it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, welcome to Beyond the Megawatt, and I'm so excited to share some of the human stories while I'm at the 7x24 Women's Summit. Please tell me who you are and who you're with.
Alexandra Desson with DC Byte.
Awesome, and thanks so much for joining me. Is this your first event?
No, this is the second year that I'm at WiMCO Tech Summit.
What made you want to come to the event, and what made you want to come back?
It is my favorite event of the year. I joined the industry just about 2 years ago. And this event is one of the most welcoming, kind, amazing events that I attend throughout any year. And the relationships that I've made last year have been the strongest ones that I've made thus far. Every single event that I go to, I try to make a mission to meet every single woman in the room. And this is one of the very few that's impossible because there's so many of us. But the beautiful thing is walking along the sidewalk, being in the room, everywhere you look, you feel safe and welcome and genuine. Everyone is just so warm and happy to be here. And seeing the men population as well just grow and continue, and seeing just their support has been amazing.
Yes. Tell me who you are.
Chrissy Olson.
And is this your first event?
No, I have been at every one of these WiMCO events since its inception.
Yeah. So we sold out the event this year. How have you
Absolutely.
seen this evolve over the last few years?
I remember when we started, Jackie started just to discuss we should do an all women's event around data centers and technology. And it's evolved too, right? The speaking panels have evolved, the attendees have evolved. It's great because we get a lot of young, newer people to the industry, which is great to build bench strength. And it's great because we get to meet a lot of new people. I meet new people every year at this event, so it's fabulous.
Hi, my name's Kate. I'm with 1547 Critical Systems Realty. We are owners and operators of data centers all throughout North America and hopefully beyond, but right now just North America. I love the community of women. When you go to the bigger conferences, all men, and especially there are a lot, and even my boss's boss will say it's a lot of the same people that have been going for the same years. He's like, he's in his 50s, and he's like, I'm seeing the same people, no new faces. So it's good to come and see a group of welcoming and inviting women that I'm here by myself this year, so I'm completely alone, and I don't feel scared as I would if I was going into like a different tech conference that is more male dominated. I would feel very much, I would feel smaller and afraid, I think.
Yeah.
If I was there, but here I'm not as nervous. I'm nervous by nature, but it's a great environment. Everyone's so nice and welcoming.
I love that you're feeling so welcomed. And it's probably why I'm seeing a lot of new faces here who tell me that they don't normally go to conferences, but they go to this one.
Yeah.
And so thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your story. We're so excited to have you here. And I am glad you feel like you're part of a tribe and that it doesn't make you feel nervous so much that you can show up by yourself and not have to bring folks with you.
Yes,
That's
I know.
exciting.
It's great. Thank you so much.
Okay, so to wrap this up, it's over. Your unpacking is all over. How do you feel?
I'm having a little separation anxiety.
I got a little emotional on Saturday. I was like, my husband walked over and I'm unpacking stuff, before I put it into storage. So whenever we clean up after, we just like put everything, because we're all just spent. And so I was unpacking everything and repacking it. And he comes up to me, he's like, are you crying? And I was like, no, but I am getting a little emotional because it just happened so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And the number of hours we put into it, Lillian, it's insane. Nights, weekends, a lot, because we have day jobs, right?
Plus, I think on top of that, it's created like this bond. I think we all have a bond, and then obviously, Jackie being the leader of this event and kind of calling on all of us and having these conversations. I'm so attached. So a little bit of separation anxiety, but I know that we're going to start planning for next year on Friday. So,
I have to tell you a funny story because I've met some of the ladies from the East Coast, and it's not hard to bond with you ladies. You're just such amazing women. But some of them I saw because, they're all already on the East Coast. And the first thing I saw, we ran up and did a chest bump. I'm like, we didn't even plan that. That just happened. And we're just so happy to
take a picture of that. That's so awesome.
I know. Yeah.
So I was like, we should reenact that. But no, we didn't. But it was just kind of funny to me that we just immediately just kind of pick up where we left off. And we just want to hug and just be near each other, but then when we leave, it is bittersweet. Like I had people going, "Where are you in the airport? I'd love to get one more hug." And I'm like, "Oh no, I'm in the C arm, you're in the A arm, or something like that." And so it was like, as you're leaving, you're trying to just get that last few minutes with everyone, and as you're even leaving, because It'll be until the next conference. And even when you get to the next conference, it's not like this one. It's not that intimate connection and that feminine space you get to be in, which is very different than others. So
I have to say that in the last 10 years, after, you know, we've created this whole community of women, and I feel like I never feel alone. I always feel like if I have an issue, I always have someone to go to. And I think prior to this, I don't think I ever felt that. I was thinking about it and I'm like, I don't think I ever had that. Like, I mean, I've had friends, but friends who understand what I do and the industry I'm in, and having that bond and having, you know, these women I can speak to about anything I mean, it really has been unbelievable. And I really feel like I can conquer the world because I have all the ladies in the same circle. You know, we can all count on each other. It's amazing.
It does feel like your strength is my strength. And if I'm feeling a little down, I don't know, I feel immediately picked up. You know, I don't know that I would have made it through an entire 3 days event, having to put out so much energy and talking. And had I just like another person would come over and I just like almost forget that I was tired, or I'd forget that I only got a few hours of sleep last night, or I don't know, there's just something, just that buzz, and it was very special. I know for me, I can't imagine anybody who didn't feel that way when they left, and I just feel more connected than I was before, and then even more connected from the time before that every time I'm with all of you ladies. So thank you for all of the hard work and all the volunteers and all of the sponsors. This event is so special, and so special to so many. I can't believe it was sold out. Does this mean we have to get a bigger venue next year, or what does that mean, sold out?
We're definitely considering moving the venue. And real quick, I think just kind of come in behind what you just said. I think that this event for us, the reason, because let me tell you, July in Houston is not like the best time at all by any means. But our goal is that it's halfway through the year. We want people to recharge their batteries, because let me tell you, once August hits, it's back to the races, and everybody feels that. And it can be, and then obviously you still have family life and you still have the holidays, and there's so much intensity in that short span of time that we want people to be able to have this type of support, so that way they can recharge and then reset, and honestly just hit the ground running, right? Through the rest of the year, and really knock it out of the park. Because I think that we put a lot of stress on ourselves. The mental health panel talked about that. I know I do. Immediately, our team afterwards, we were all hanging out, and I'm sitting there, my brain's like, how can we do better? How, you know, this didn't go as well. I would like to see that better. And a lot of people don't see any of that on the facade, but we're constantly thinking about how we can improve, and we're trying to make a conscious effort to improve every year. And everybody's words and feedback and everything, we read every review, every survey response, and we truly help that shape and mold what next year looks like. So there's that. But anyways, I'm so glad you made it out there. I'm so glad you took the time, and I know it had to have been exhausting to go and interview people, because we had a very big mix. We had people who had been there for 3 years, 2 years, and then their first year out of the gate. One of the students even has been there for 2 years now. And it's incredible. So yes, we're probably going to have to take the venue somewhere else. We're looking currently into different places. We don't know where yet, but we will shortly, hopefully soon.
Stay tuned. More to come on that.
Right.
Lillian, how is this for you, just as we close up here, as it closes out? I know you said, you know, you were having a little bit of
separation anxiety,
withdrawals, separation anxiety.
But what I do have to say is that this is definitely like recharged my batteries for sure. You know, as you know, I just started a business and I am ready. And this just has given me so much more energy. I am so excited. I can't wait for what the future holds. And thank you so much for everything you do and for highlighting our company as well.
Of course. Well, I'm always excited. Mara and I, we love lifting the voices of others and the hidden gems in the industry. That's why she and I started this in the first place. And being able to be out there, I was going to be there anyway. So I said, why not? You know, and I called Jackie about coming out there and highlighting this. And I don't know where it was, like maybe a little ESP in the universe or something. I just woke up and it went, I'm going to be there anyway. Why am I not doing a podcast there and capturing the essence of this event? And so when I talked to Jackie, she was like, we were just talking about that. And then so it was perfect timing. I'm so glad to have been able to be out there. I'm sorry Mari didn't get to join us. I know that she was really sad, but that's okay. She was happy that we were actually there to represent, and she was with us in spirit. So thank you so much for sharing sort of that, you know, after postpartum feelings, how this all came to be. I'm so excited to share the essence of this event. We'll be dropping the episode with links to the event or any questions you have. We'll have your social bars on there as well. And I do have to give a shout out to title sponsor BCS, who keeps our mic hot. And thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.